Yeah, but we love you anyway.
What's your favorite game, man? What's your favorite game? It's Mario Kart, Davey. Shut up.
Your mom.
Damn it.
What you did now? We should probably start over.
I was wondering how long Sean was going to keep it up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lag Podcast. I'm your host, along with BJ, Sean. I'm AJ. Talking about what could be our most interesting episode yet, and that is the worst, the most controversial, basically just games that have bad publicity written all over them. We're going everywhere from games that just had maybe a bad launch, games that weren't complete upon launch but had all the hype in the world, and games that are just generally terrible. Yeah. So, how are we starting this off, guys? What's our first topic for the day?
Okay, one second, I did confirm that we have audio. I double confirmed it, so we're good. All right. Let me pull up the good old notes real quick. All right. Okay, so first topic we're going to go into is and I guess in a way we can kind of go over what deems a game infamous, worse, and controversial. Infamous and controversial kind of can go hand in hand, because if a game is infamous enough, it will be controversial. Like No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk. Both are pretty infamous on releasing garbage games. Now, have they gotten better since then? From what I've been told, yes. But the hype that they have behind those games...
It's a good example of a bad launch can absolutely kill a game, because Cyberpunk is not a bad game, and No Man's Sky, not a bad game. But as we said, you know, they had so much hype. Everyone just was like, oh, I can't wait. And they put out all this press, and then it was just trash right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
They've recovered, kind of, but they don't have nearly the fan base that the games would have had launches gone well.
I will say one thing. Cyberpunk, the anime, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, probably has helped them a lot. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. It's definitely helped them, you know, bring some eyes back to the product. It's very good.
Yeah. Hey, BJ, I saw you had something to show us.
Oh, yeah. I got my Cyberpunk is actually still sealed.
No way. Still sealed? Man, I thought the game was great.
Well, you know, since it went on like super clearance, like I had bought it and then I played it. I didn't like it. Stuck it on the shelf and like I'm just gonna keep it there. And then when it went on super clearance, I bought a brand new one and just traded in the other one.
Yeah, seems smart.
And ended up getting, you know,
like Skyrim for me. You know, you do and you do and you do and you do. And you're like, okay, I gotta play something else.
Yeah, I feel that. Kinda. Skyrim's a little different. Skyrim is just a game you play forever.
Yeah, well, anybody who tells you they finished Skyrim is a liar.
Yeah. So just a few facts on Cyberpunk while we're on the topic of it. Apparently, every copy was recalled, and the stores even stopped selling the game, and it was also removed from the PlayStation Store by Sony. The developers knew how broken the game was, as they didn't let YouTube reviewers show their own footage, but instead, footage was sent to them by the developer. It was way too ambitious for its own good, and with every delay, hype just built and built. Like, some mods had made it better in the time since its release, but even the company who made it has had several class action lawsuits, and it's massively damaged their reputation in the industry.
That's a shame. It's like, you look at all the things Cyberpunk promised. and just everything that it promised was so awesome. Just having Keanu Reeves in the game with you the whole time is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just like I said, the premise is great, and I love the idea of like augmenting yourself with cybernetics, and just the style of the game, like a Fallout style game, Skyrim style game, is great for me. It's right up my alley. But yeah, I did see some of the issues people were having, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a real shame.
I remember
kind of like maybe not as hyped as much, but Anthem was super hyped.
That was by like EA, right?
Yeah, and it was like a Destiny style Iron Man game. You were in a suit, you went and did missions, you flew all over the place, and it looked so cool. And I personally really looked forward to Anthem. Like, I was hyping the shit out of it myself, and I played it for a month, trying to love it, and there was just no saving it. I definitely had a lot of issues with Anthem, like rubber banding and just all around glitching. The game was broken, just beyond repair.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the more infamous games as well. Another one that I for myself was pretty hyped about when they got released was No Man's Sky. Like that, just like the possibility of this game was so just like, please.
Yeah, it seemed impossible, and it was.
Right, yeah. They promised an infinite universe.
You'll never see the same thing twice. You'll never have the same experience. That was definitely a lie.
Yeah.
Even now, with it being fixed, they didn't live up to that hype.
For sure. Definitely.
They took the money,
it's not bad. If you play it now, it's not a terrible game. It's pretty fun. But, again, just like Cyberpunk, it is not going to recover. And No Man's Sky ain't getting its own series either.
No.
So...
No.
That one's pretty much just done.
Yep, that one's just done and dusted. BJ, I want BJ to talk on this one a little bit. I guess both of y'all are really big wrestling fans. You actually wrestling, AJ. BJ used to wrestle. WWE 2K20. I've never played the game
ever.
I've read a little bit on it, so I know a little bit of the facts. Tell me about the game a little bit. BJ, start me off.
Man, that game had so many glitches, like especially in the create a character mode. Like sometimes you'll be like switching out mask or this and that, and like their face would disappear and it'd be just eyeballs and teeth.
That sounds amazing.
It was ridiculous.
Terrifying.
Like it was terrifying. Like and then you'd be like wrestling and you like go through the ropes. Like you would fall in the ring, like in the middle of the ring, just be walking around. Like I mean, the amount of glitches was just through the roof. Like
wow.
People were having
the first matches I played, I glitched into the crowd. We go for the lockup, and I just fly into the crowd. Like, hey, you get an AJ. What the?
I mean, it's fun if you get really drunk and then go play.
I bet getting drunk makes all the shitty games better.
Yeah, it definitely does. But I've got my copy. I picked it up literally, the collector's edition, for $20.
I played it at a friend's house. I was not about to spend money on that hot garbage.
I remember, didn't either you or I think it was Davies came in the mail damaged or something like that?
I think his did.
Yeah, I remember that now. Actually,
mine was fine.
I hate how good my memory is sometimes. I remember just like random stupid shit all the time like that. Like that's something I shouldn't remember.
Yeah, I could barely remember what I had for breakfast. It might have been eggs. I don't know.
Maybe. But does it actually matter, though?
It matters to my doctor.
Do you go see a doctor? Just be honest.
At your age,
I actually do nowadays.
Awesome.
Thanks to Nakia.
That's awesome.
Nakia's been getting me to go. I go to the clinic that she works at, and don't get me wrong, she's a nice lady, Jill, my doctor. But, oh man, I hate it. I hate being told that I'm getting old and I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, they could lie. I mean,
good she won't. She looks me right in the eye and goes, "This is what's wrong. You might want to get this fixed." And I'm like, "Thank you."
They had it. We had like a health fair at work, and I turned out to be completely fine. That was awesome.
I mean, I knew I had issues, but I don't want to know about them. Don't tell me. Yeah. I'm blissfully ignorant. It's like as soon as she told me I had these issues, I started feeling them. Thanks. I appreciate that.
You can't be perfect and perfect health and perfect everything. It's just
debatable.
Well, I mean, I've been wrestling since I was 14 years old, so.
Yeah, it puts a toll on the body for sure.
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, we'd jump off of roofs and stuff, and we had a little wrestling thing set up in one of my friend's backyard with a 20-foot ladder. We'd jump off of that and land on things, and yeah, I feel it now.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely feel that stuff now.
But anyway, back on topic. So yeah, we have infamous games that had bad launches or just kind of issues that kind of killed its hype, killed its run. But then there were games that were just bad. That nothing could save them. Didn't matter how much hype they had. Nothing could rescue these games.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that I had done research on are from the NES era.
For sure.
Which for a lot of people is considered the golden era of gaming. Because it was gaming's big boom. It was really starting to come into people's homes everywhere. Not everybody had an Atari. Not everybody had the systems before it, but Nintendo became very accessible. And of course, with the movie industry being very big, there was bound to be movie games. Didn't think so at the time, but there was bound to be movie games. And it seemed like any movie that was popular in the 90s or late 80s had a game. It had to have a game. Yeah, which, unfortunately, that market was mostly taken over by a company. Yep, that's one of them. It was mostly taken over by a company called LJN with the rainbow logo. Some of you have probably seen it.
Yeah, I can show it a little closer.
Yeah, that fucking thing. Sorry, I told I wasn't gonna curse on the podcast, but my God.
Fuck that shit.
I told myself I wasn't gonna cry.
I feel like I want to cry just talking about it. LJN practically cornered the market with movie games. Almost every single movie game was produced by them, and almost every single movie game is a huge pile of poopy.
Poopy? Not the poopy.
Big pile of poopy.
Not the poopy.
A lot of the games, if you didn't put the title on there, you couldn't even tell what the game was based on. First one that comes to mind is the Predator game. You can kind of tell it's a Predator game in certain boss fights, but besides that, you really don't know. You're fighting against a whole bunch of random stuff. The character you're playing is supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's all pink. That's a great technical color. I wish I were joking. I wish I made that up, but
that's
nope.
Amazing.
Just awful games. Waterworld. I don't even want to talk about Waterworld. Waterworld had the NES version or Super NES version, and also had the Virtual Boy version, which looked like the world of blood.
And that's actually that's one of the more expensive games too on the Virtual Boy is Waterworld. I want to say it is at least. I'm not bothering myself looking that up. I'm just gonna guess.
I never played Waterworld on the. God, it was terrible.
I will say one thing about Karate Kid. So I have Karate Kid in my collection, and the reason why it's in my collection is I thought it was really cool that they have there's 3 different genres of game in just this one game. Now it is very hard, so it's could be borderline unplayable if I put some real time into it. But just the fact that they were able to kind of nail down a few different genres is actually pretty impressive to me. But it's rather hard, and I can see people getting turned off by that. But people still play Dark Souls games.
Well, I was going to say that back then games were just more difficult, and we didn't really know better. Yeah. Going back playing old games that I used to love playing and could play for hours and hours and beat. Yeah. I could barely make through now. Just because I've been so used to games being easier than they used to be now. But I mean, I truly believe that this whole movie game adaptation thing was all sparked off by one particular game, one game that stands in infamy as the single worst game ever created, and a lot of people would agree with me, and that is, of course, the E.T. game for Atari.
Okay, so I'm gonna debate you on this. I will not say it's the worst game. Now, it's very widely considered one of the worst games. I'd have to say the worst game has to be Superman. Like, yes, E.T. is bad,
understandable.
But at least E.T.'s on Atari. It was during the birth of gaming.
Yeah, they really didn't have it figured out yet. So.
Yeah, Superman, there's no excuse.
I can't even understand what to do on E.T.
Like,
I have no idea what the hell's going on.
I don't know.
Superman is bad, like games, ridiculously bad, but at least I understand what's going on. It's just really, really boring.
It is. Yeah. But most Atari games, I mean, it didn't really come in instructions. They didn't really tell you what to do. You just kind of had to, like, figure it out, and you weren't sure if you were winning or losing.
Dude, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, you gotta light a candle and push the trigger. Then you gotta do this seance chant, and ET will do this thing. Fuck you, man! I don't want to do this.
Thinking about it though, like I'm looking up different LGN games, and like they got Jaws. There's Friday the 13th. These are all games. Back to the Future. I played a lot of, but never actually finished any of the games. Like I replayed the first level probably a gazillion times. But I've never actually played through it.
The more you play those games, the more they steal your freaking soul. So it's a good thing you never finish them. Like Ghostbusters. I wanted to like that Ghostbusters game so bad.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
When you're looking at it, it looks like it might be fun. You're like, oh, well, that's cool. No, it is not fun at all. It is a metric ton of fuck is what it is. And... like, it got a little bit better because, like, it was ported onto multiple consoles. The same exact game was ported on multiple consoles. And I think the Sega version was the version that was, like, the top notch. But my God, they have so... I don't know how it kept getting ported because it was just terrible. It never got better. Until, like I said, maybe the Sega game was okay.
I doubt it was okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There wasn't many things on Sega that I thought was good.
I heard that there was one version of the game that was decent. I think someone had said that the Sega version was actually decent, which is, I guess, surprising, but still.
The Sega has a lot of like little hidden gems. Nothing like most of like the AAA titles weren't like they were fine. Like everybody loves playing Sonic.
Right. But then, like, Sega had games that also were on the Nintendo systems that some would say were better than the Nintendo systems versions, like Mortal Kombat, for instance. Mortal Kombat, talking about controversies, Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo didn't have blood. Yep. There was no blood.
Sweat or something.
Which is
whatever that was.
Kind of more gross, because it was like buckets of sweat. I'm like, no one sweats this much.
Right. Well, the crazy thing is, too, they had to change up a lot of the fatalities. Like, it wasn't nearly as effective now. Like,
make it more PG. And Sega was like, screw that. We're going to give you exactly what the arcade gives you.
But Sega didn't have the sound quality that Super Nintendo had. That's the one thing that kept me playing the Super Nintendo, was that sound quality.
Yeah.
Now, the graphics-wise, Sega had it. They could have morphed the two into one game. It would have been great.
Right.
Which I guess would have been the arcade version that was out.
Well, if you get the... I don't know if it's a Game Shark or something for the Super Nintendo. There's actually codes that you could put in for the game that will unlock all the stuff you want for it.
Yeah.
Like, give you the old fatalities, give you the blood. It'll give you everything. It's just a shame that you had to go through all that.
Right, for sure. Yeah. I myself only really played it on Super Nintendo because before we dive into a few more of the controversial games, I wanted to go touch back on just a few games that I saw that were just widely considered some of the worst games. One, I'm not going to dive super deep into it. We all know the abomination that is the Zelda games on the Philips CDI. They're...
Nothing you can do about that one.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even consider them Zelda games.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it definitely doesn't look anything like what Zelda is familiar with nowadays.
Right.
It looks very different.
Yes. One thing.
A lot of games in that style, though, didn't do very well. Like Dragon's that style of game.
Right. At least Dragon's Lair did good enough to where it warranted a remake. It had a remake not too long ago on PS4. Yep. It's probably on Xbox and Switch as well. But one game that actually surprised me, I didn't realize this, is the Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 is considered one of the worst games, and also considered the worst arcade port of all time. It's just
Why?
Yeah, I don't recall that one. Well, I know Pac-Man, but I don't recall
that seems
version.
odd. You would think the Atari would have been the optimized version.
Well, like graphically, like I saw a few pictures of it. Graphically, it was garbage. It had a very poor reception, but oddly enough, it sold 12 million copies, and the Atari 2600 only sold 10 million.
Wow.
So 2 million people lost their games and rebought, or sold and rebought.
Wow.
And
Jeez,
then
I guess they weren't going to get their Pac-Man fix any other way, so they're like, screw it, give it back.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the last game I have on my list was Aliens Colonial Marines. And this one... So this one, in 2013, they had a class action lawsuit being filed against the developer and the publisher. The promotional materials pre-launch made the game look great, and once it released, fans realized that they had been lied to. Pre-release versions of the games showed things that weren't in the final game, including different levels, reduced graphics. Sega agreed to pay a settlement of $1.2 million as a result of false advertising due to differences and the press embargo preventing the publishing of reviews of the final product until the release date. So they just stopped people from reviewing it until it came out. It's a case
Great
of a game
idea.
gone wrong. The co-op mode was badly implemented, the gameplay was unbalanced, the AI had coding problems, and the low quality graphics and bugs made players furious. The story for the game was supposedly canon with the Alien films, yet it didn't follow them at all. So it was canon, but not canon.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the story was. I had bought it myself when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And the sad thing is, like, at the time, this is 2013. You said?
Yeah.
So like, I'm trying to pay for an apartment. You know, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. That I couldn't really afford to buy new games very much. But I was such a fan of the Alien movies and the Predator movies, and you know, the obvious crossover. And then I was like, oh, cool! You could be a Marine and kind of fight them like a, you know, almost a Halo style game. I said, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this. And I was so pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was so disappointing. I just went back to playing Halo and pretended.
Yeah, it's not too often where you get a class action lawsuit against you due to like just false advertising, and you have to and you actually lose it.
Straight up lying. Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna get to the last and final part, which is the best part. We touched on it a little bit with the Mortal Kombat series, but we didn't touch into too much onto it. The controversial games. The one thing about Mortal Kombat that we didn't really touch on to, we touched a little bit about the blood and stuff like that, but this and another game called Night Trap actually gave rise to the ESRB that we now have, where all the video games get rated. What was it, Nancy Pelosi? I want to say, no, not Nancy Pelosi.
I believe so.
No, it was Reagan's wife. Nancy Reagan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still Nancy.
Yeah, still a Nancy.
Nancy's.
Yeah, and that was a big stink. I remember, oh man, Twisted Sister. I forget his name.
Snyder.
Yeah, D. Snyder. D. Snyder was in that court. Super famous court hearing. Monstrously big. I didn't realize on Night Trap, one of the big games in that case, I could kind of see why it was kind of controversial. Like, let me see, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, you just basically run around trying to, you know, help the people get through the house without getting caught by burglars and stuff like that. And you have to set off traps for the guys and all.
And it was pretty much kind of like your cliche horror movie.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
But the fact that there were, you know, I guess kids were playing it. I mean, there was ratings on. I don't think there's really ratings on horror movies much, you know. So
yeah,
everything's a little more.
They didn't really have a lot of like violent or horror games at the time. Like the closest thing to a horror game they had was the Halloween and Friday the 13th games.
Yeah, but they weren't
on, I think, Atari, and so obscure.
Yeah, they weren't really horror games either. Like, it had like a creepy vibe to it, but like it was Atari. Let's be real. Like how.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. You see this like little pixel kind of moving around. Oh, super realistic.
Yeah,
Well, like the Halloween game, if you out like that while the body's running around like a chicken, pretty funny. But no, at the time, I could honestly see why Mortal Kombat got so much heat.
Oh yeah.
Because no game pushed the envelope the way it did.
Oh yeah.
And
for
it
sure.
really set the standard for future like violence in games.
Definitely did. And then like we still have issues nowadays where people are like, oh, it's because of that video game that they went go do this or the other. No, that person's just fucked up in the head.
It's Grand
It's
Theft
not a
Auto.
parenting problem. Oh no.
No. Mental health issues? No. Video game.
Yeah, it's all video games.
You know what? I'm gonna go back in the hospital and tell those psych patients to quit it.
Quit playing video games. Get out of here.
Stop playing your Pokemons and your Halos. Stop it.
And your dang on Final Fantasies.
Right. Trying to summon a damn dragon. Get out of here.
Trying to summon a damn demon.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that too was like Grand Theft Auto when that came out. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, still today they talk about that. Like, they still blame that game, even though they haven't had a new one in 10 years.
Oh, speaking of which, have y'all seen the leaks?
I haven't seen it. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
So, the main protagonist is going to be a female Latina.
Yeah, okay, so they want to totally change it up now.
Yeah, and it's going to
Not
be
totally. I guess they've always kind of changed it up though. Like,
yeah, a little.
Really, when you think about it.
This is just the first time they do a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it takes place in Florida as well.
Oh boy.
So we're back to Florida. Yep.
Watch out for the crackheads on bath salts. God damn it.
If I can't get in a fight with an alligator, something's wrong.
I think it'd be cool if they have like an event happen where like there's a hurricane.
Oh god.
Just starts wiping stuff out. You're trying to drive around.
Yep.
Let's go the full route. Let's give everybody PTSD. Screw it.
Oh man, that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I think
so. Games that touch on that though.
No, I'm exactly. Like there's a few games that like very specifically talk about about natural disasters, but there's barely any games where like they're like natural outside.
Do a game based on like Hurricane Katrina or something like that.
You better do it right.
Boy.
Or Kanye West gonna have something to say about it.
Well, right. I think they shouldn't even touch. You wouldn't even be able to touch that subject because I mean, first of all, you think it's a game? You know that's the first comment that's gonna happen.
Right.
You already know that.
I'm just saying, the day we get a game like that, I'd say we've touched everything on video games at that point.
Right. Yeah.
You know what would be interesting though, and I thought about this for a while, was like if they came up with a purge. The ideas out there.
0.00001%.
I'd take it.
Here first.
One game. It's not really controversial, but it is kind of interesting just as a fact. Perfect Dark. It was the first M-rated game for Nintendo.
Was it?
Oh.
Yeah, which is kind of controversial in its own right. Which, playing the game, I would have never thought it was M-rated. Like, why was it?
I knew it was M-rated, I guess, for, like,
violence?
Copious amounts of violence.
Yeah, violence. Yeah.
But that's it, though.
I mean, that's weird. I wouldn't have thought that it was the first M-rated game.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't 007 be the same thing?
I don't think that one's... Well, I don't think that's M-rated.
Perfect Dark came out before then, I think.
Did it?
I think so.
I can't remember which one came out when.
But like...
I mean, really, 007 was probably worse, I would think. You know?
GoldenEye is rated teen.
Oh. See, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. It's weird. That's why, like, whenever I saw this, I was like, "What? Okay, sure."
But I'm trying to think. Did Perfect Dark actually have blood though? I don't remember.
I don't remember. It
did.
Really that might have been what pushed it over the top.
Not like I don't know.
It's weird. Yeah, this was whenever, for the most part, Nintendo was super wholesome.
Yeah, they were holding back.
Yeah.
Holding back their true feelings on how.
Yeah, I think the 64 they tried to touch a little bit. Like you had your Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there Duke Nukem on the 64 as well?
M-rated games.
Oh, I beg to differ.
For Nintendo?
Well, I mean, we don't look at it no more though.
There are straight up pornographic games for Nintendo, homie.
I mean, there's the Leisure Suit Larry games.
Well, no, like they have like
Yeah.
hentai games for the Switch.
Really?
Oh.
I didn't know
Like
that.
a lot of them.
How did I miss that?
Yeah,
Oh, you're going to get a Switch now.
it's a rather
I
big
have one
market.
already.
It's a rather
It's
big
getting-
market.
It's getting it around my
Start
girl.
bringing
That's
it
going to
with
be a
them.
problem.
Now,
We share an account. She'll see if I bought it.
Oh, God.
just play the game together. It would be a bonding experience.
Oh yeah, that'll go great.
A bondage experience.
I don't know Nakia very well.
And BJ
Freaking
said
kill me.
a bondage experience. Truly.
Truly. No, I really didn't even know that actually. So
Yeah.
that's news to me.
Yeah,
I don't do much on my Switch, but I do play a good bit. But
yeah, I'm in a few game groups on Facebook with a bunch of degenerates. So-
well, that explains it.
Yeah, and I work.
the Gamer Collecting Club. The classy. It's
Yeah.
the classy.
They're the worst.
Wait, here we go.
Yeah, it's my pinky. So
I don't have any more drink.
Oh no.
me either. I've got eyeballs left, but that's it.
I believe AJ mentioned this a second ago. Wapow! Leisure Suit Larry.
I actually like that game. It's actually a fun game. Besides all the gimmicky
Yeah.
stuff in it, but it was actually
Magna
Well, very
cum
well put together, yeah.
loud.
yeah,
I heard the games are really funny, but like
they are funny.
not something you want to play around kids. But
Check
I've
this
never
out.
actually picked up and played any of them.
Let me get this out of here. Come on.
I played the one for Xbox, which was Box Office Burst or something around like that.
Look at that underboob. Ooh.
Nice.
I mean, didn't they have like an actual Playboy game for like the PlayStation?
Yes.
2 era?
Yeah. It's called Playboy the Game.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've seen it because I was never allowed to play it, but I did see it at Blockbuster all the time, and I'm like, I wonder what that game's about.
Oh, fun fact about that game. This actual game right here, Magna Cum Laude, is Australia refused to give the game an age classification, essentially banning it from sales.
Oh wow!
Apparently, there's sex scenes and nudity in the game as well.
Huh.
Damn. That's kind of
Well, God of War kind of had sex scenes in the game.
I was about to say that.
You don't really see anything, but I mean, the bed shakes.
But Well, no, don't you see titties?
I mean, yeah, but you don't see them in the act, is what I'm saying.
Oh, but you know.
Like, whenever they go into the act, well, yeah. Even as a kid, I'm snickering like a little fucking creep.
Yeah. Wasn't there, like... What happened with... There's a hotline that you could call as well.
Yeah, I think one of the game developers or the director or something was on the line, and Kratos kills him.
Oh, wow, that's what it was? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's go. I'm going to go...
I don't remember if it was that one. There's another one where they have a hotline for the game, and I'm gonna have to go back and look. But the game ended up getting bought out by a phone sex line, and it's a Nintendo game. So there's a Nintendo game connected to a phone sex line. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out which one that is. I can't think of it right now. It was pretty funny.
For a minute, I forgot that used to be a thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Treasure Quest. That's what it was. Treasure Quest had a little contest where you had to get through a certain amount of levels and then call the hotline, tell them you beat the level and you got the codes and all that stuff.
Yep.
And
That was a chance to win $1 million, I think, or something like that. Right?
But if you call it now, it's connected to a phone sex line.
There's another one, too. Who Framed Roger Rabbit included a real phone number that players could call and hear a recording of Jessica Rabbit offering hints, and that phone line discontinued by 1990 and then was reassigned to a sex hotline sometime before 2010.
Yes, indeed.
That's
Here
awesome.
live, AJ is going to call that number.
I am not. I'm heavily committed.
Oh, man.
God.
Oh, I'm going to go over one game real quick that I didn't really know about. I'm sure we don't really give two shits really about playing the game. It's from the Atari 2600. It's called Custer's Revenge. It features a naked General Custer, which is an old dude, who our words abound Native American woman. I'm not saying the actual word. I don't feel like getting canceled.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
While the game sold more copies than others
Game. It's the only game anyone knows you for.
Let me see what other games this company makes. I wonder if they still make games.
What was the name of the company?
Mystique.
Yeah, no. I really heard that name.
Hopefully they morphed into a more wholesome company.
Somehow I doubt it.
They might have.
Changed their name, image. They even changed all their employees just to...
Oh. They were degenerate. There's also a game that they had called Bachelor Party.
Oh.
Never mind, these guys are assholes.
And then there's also...
We know what happens to those.
Jesus Christ. They have another game called Beat 'em and Eat 'em.
Wow. I'm not even going to speculate what that's about.
I am a whole ass child.
Jesus.
And then they have one more game. And it's Bachelor Party, also with Gigolo.
Nice.
Wow.
Gigolo.
Yes.
It was my name in high school.
Not Juggalo. Not being afraid of magnets and wondering how they work. Nah. Gigolo. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, so the Bachelor Party game actually had... Oh! I gotta check this out real quick. Is this just like... No, this is straight up the title. Okay, awesome. So the title of the Bachelor Party game, in most of their games, it's actually Swedish Erotica Bachelor Party.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. It
doesn't sound like my bachelor party.
There's nothing
Swedish in their bachelor parties.
There's nothing erotic.
Pizza and going to bed early.
I'm looking at gameplay. There's nothing erotic about this at all. It's on the Atari.
I mean, yeah. What do you?
Oh well.
Really?
How bad could it be?
Right. But
my god, these graphics are so real. Is that a vagina? I don't know. It looks like 2 pixels to me.
Are they eating them? Yeah, they're eating them all right.
Heck, then we had imagination.
Yeah. You had to. Okay, and then...
You need your fancy graphics.
I'm going to go over just one last game. Then this one had a bit of a controversy. It ended up being banned in a country. And also part of like this kid did this because of this video game, and that is the Manhunt series.
Oh god, yeah.
Which was like one of like the first big kind of like horror thriller games on a Nintendo console, because this is also on the Wii.
Yeah.
Which is super out of character for the Wii, because the Wii, Nintendo still very much had that wholesome image during the Wii. It wasn't until I guess very recently where they started like edging into like the hentai stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
I will say though, if you've ever played the Manhunt games, it is something that sticks with you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my god.
It's actually considered one of the most graphic and violent video games ever. Like there's just gruesome executions in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently it was the center of an investigation of a murder of a 14-year-old child in England.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Later on, it was determined that the game had nothing to do with it, but...
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. Yeah, like we had said earlier, like, that's just the thing that they love to just... Oh, it's the video game's fault.
Yeah, that gets thrown around way too much.
Yeah, it definitely
I mean, I played violent video games since they first came out.
That explains a lot.
I've never done anything remotely close to it. I've stabbed one person my whole life.
You stabbed like a bitch.
Well, you know, just saying.
Well,
you know,
I might as well tell the story. Well, you see, we're in my apartment, right? So just so everybody doesn't worry, I made it out alive. I'm actually here.
You're actually there now.
If you think I'm a bad guy, I forgave him.
Yeah, you're a bigger guy.
You're
a bigger man than me.
I forget what we were talking about. What I was making fun of him for.
You kept putting me in the headlock over and over.
I've been making fun of him from the time he got there to the time he left. He was about to cry. Pulled out his knife. He's like, "If you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna stab you." And of course, I called his bluff. And well,
that was not a good time to call bluff.
he didn't lie to me.
Hey, so I guess you did learn a lesson. Don't call
That's
his
right.
bluff.
Don't call bluff.
No, I ended up getting stabbed again.
It's the constant pattern with you.
It only happened one other time, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
In my defense, I tried to fake it.
He did. He pulled back. He freaked out more than I did. I think I was more shocked than anything.
When he should have
laying
Okay.
on my carpet.
Okay, so whenever you say you got stabbed, what kind of stabbed we talking?
Like knife in the stomach, stabbed.
Like deep?
Deep enough for me to bleed all over my rug.
It was pretty. It almost needed stitches.
Like I was fine. I was like, oh, I was more shocked than anything.
I bet.
Because,
You
you know,
got
I've been
I
stabbed.
didn't think I was really going to hit you.
But like I had done hardcore wrestling for a while, and that hurt a lot more than what he did.
That's true.
Yeah.
Y'all doing some
Again,
dumb
I was
shit
more
back then.
surprised than anything. He's like, "Oh God, you got to go to the hospital," and I'm completely against going to see a doctor for anything. So I said, "No." I just got some paper towels and I duct taped the fucking wound. I swear to God, it's exactly what I did.
Oh God.
He's even messaging me when he gets home. Dude, you okay? Dude, you okay?
Make sure he doesn't
I
die
said,
later.
"Police." He goes, "No, don't do that."
Now there's a murder charge out there for me or something.
Jesus.
Oh,
But yeah, if you don't think I'm a nice guy, I forgave him. We're very good friends.
Yeah.
You're a better man than me.
Surprisingly-
Funnily enough,
story.
that didn't stop anything.
Nope.
Um,
I mean, you only stabbed me one time. If you'd have stabbed me a second time, I would have thought about it.
stab me once,
yeah.
shame on me. Stab me
Yeah,
twice, shame
yeah.
on you.
Yeah, that's like
Now
how
we-
in movies when I see people get stabbed and they overact. Oh, I'm like, come on, you bitch.
Well,
Oh,
I
damn
try
it.
not to bring the knife at his house anymore, even though I did mess up that last time. He took it from me.
Really?
And
Yeah, I don't
almost
need the
got
Kia.
stabbed.
I don't need the Kia freaking out.
He's like, payback. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
No, that's wow. BJ, earlier, you had some nice infamous games that you wanted to talk about that you had pulled to the
Oh.
side.
Hey, I've actually got the most infamous game ever made, quite in my opinion. It's so infamous, in fact, that they actually named it.
Is that all of them?
Nah, probably not.
No, there's like
There's
one or
4.
two other games.
There's 4 total.
Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, there
this
you
is
go.
the one with the 1, 2, some extra stuff, and this is just 1 and 2. There's the
Oh,
one for
okay.
you got the PS4 one too.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's Second Son and there's
Yep.
First Light, and then
Yeah.
Festival of Blood got its own release.
mhm.
Oh, okay.
It's
Actually not
technically
bad
part.
games, I mean.
It's technically a DLC for like 2, I think, but it got its own release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, we was talking about like like big disappointments in games and this and that. One I thought of that I didn't think of till like we were talking about it was actually Fallout 76, man.
Oh yeah, that was a big one
Yes.
actually.
I
Oh
mean,
man!
Yeah.
And I've
how
gone
big of a
back to it.
letdown was that game?
I've gone back to it a couple of times trying to give it a chance, and I just can't.
You just
I
can't.
end up
It's
quitting
still
and just going
not
back to playing
improved.
Fallout 4. I just go back to playing 4 so much
There's
better.
no reason to play 76 whatsoever. In fact, I think that really kind of killed Bethesda, quite honestly. I mean,
I don't know, because Bethesda's still like developing games. Like, they're developing the next Elder Scrolls. That's been announced.
No. It's no
I mean,
Mystique.
now that
It's no
Xbox owns
Mystique
them,
games, you know.
You know,
Oh,
so
well. But I mean, also 76 keeps putting out DLC, so there must be a following. People must like it.
Yeah.
they either like it or they like to
Oh,
make
good
fun of
for
it.
them.
I don't know which one it is.
I don't know. But good for them. Good for the people who actually enjoy the game.
Yeah,
Enjoy the game. Don't let us ruin your
Somebody
time.
enjoys
We
it.
just don't like it.
Let us ruin
Uh,
your time.
what was that other one?
I mean,
Fuck your time.
what's the worst that's going to happen? We're going to stab you?
Literally.
So another one I was thinking of, Metal Gear Survive. Anyone
Which-
actually
Oh,
played
God.
What was that for?
Nobody likes that game.
that? I played it. I
Nobody.
mean, it had a decent concept, but then it just
It has
No,
nothing
no.
to do with Metal Gear.
Oh,
They
no.
said it was canon to the story, but it literally has nothing to do with anything Metal Gear.
What is it?
it's
Yeah.
just basically its own game.
It should have just been called Survive.
Yeah, Survive. That would have been a better. It has zero to do with Metal Gear.
What console is that on?
PS4.
PS4,
Xbox
Xbox
One,
One,
PS4.
and Steam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
the game isn't terrible, but it's not good either. But just like, if you're looking for a Metal Gear game, avoid that one. It ain't gonna do you any good.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, this looks weird.
It was definitely a big letdown.
What the fuck? This looks...
And like the introduction of zombies into the Metal Gear world should have been a lot cooler than that.
Yeah, like isn't like the whole Metal Gear thing about like political espionage?
Yeah, this was more like
I think it could have been done because we've seen some pretty off the wall stuff in Metal Gear. I mean, there's Metal Gear Rising.
That was off
that's
the wall for sure.
Very different from the other Metal Gear games. You can tell it's a Metal Gear game. That's the thing.
It actually was still fun to play.
Like, it's not like they couldn't pull it off, but that was just a bad way to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely a bad way of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
we...
you know, we learn, we move on.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any other bad games that we may have missed?
Oh, I've got one more here, which is to me is one of the worst Xbox games at least ever made, and that is Drake of the 99 Dragons.
Drake of the 99 Dragons. So it's like Dragon of the 99 Dragons, but like shittier.
Yeah, like okay, so basically there's no aiming. There's it's hard to hit literally anything, and when you shoot, you're shooting like this. Like it's just like your hands
forward like this. When you aim backwards, your arms are like this. You aim to the side, your arms are like this.
Yeah, like it just goes in weird. Like you're always in a weird angle, and you cannot aim to save your life. The camera angles are horrendous.
Voice acting's terrible. The one thing about Drake of the 99 Dragons is I think the comic book aesthetic looks really cool. It looks like it could be a cool game, but the execution was horrible.
It looks like it would have been fun.
Yeah,
it really does. Like, there's nothing about this that this game is gonna suck. No, it looks
well. Like the Ultimate Spider-Man games used the same exact aesthetic, and they were decent. Yeah. So there's no excuse why they couldn't have made that game good.
Who made this anyway? Oh, well, look, there you go. Majestico. Maybe they're linked.
Well, they didn't make the game. They published it.
Oh, they published it? Bad enough. Oh, Idol, I guess?
Yeah, Idol's the one who made the game.
But yeah.
So apparently there is a crappy games Wikipedia.
Oh, wow.
Oh, great.
Oh, wow. You know what's number 10 on this list of this guy's personal top 10 worst games of all time list? Final Fantasy 13.
Really?
Like, okay,
it wasn't great, but
that game gets shit on a lot.
It does. I mean, I don't know.
It's not great,
hold on. Okay, I'm not even gonna go any further with this guy's list because he later on says that Final Fantasy X is one of his top 5 favorite RPG games.
Oh, you don't know enough RPG games.
I wouldn't have went that far.
Right. Like, Final Fantasy X is not even in my top 5 Final Fantasy games. Now,
I mean, it is the gameplay, my top 5 Final Fantasy games, but top 5 RPGs, no.
No, not even. No, not even close.
Not RPGs, but yeah, Final Fantasy for me, it'd probably be in top 5.
It wouldn't be in my.
I don't know. I like that game. Like,
the gameplay's good.
Number 5.
The gameplay's good, but the voice acting is fucking garbage.
It's horrendous. But like the story itself. The story itself is good.
It's okay.
The gameplay's good, and it looks great.
No, it does. Graphically, it's really good. The gameplay. So
I love the gameplay.
I used to hate the gameplay, but I played it again recently on the Vita. Actually, really good gameplay. I was very surprised.
Yeah. And I thought it was one of the better looking games on PS2, like aesthetically.
Oh, and it's aged amazingly. Just like that and like Final Fantasy 12. They're both in very similar like graphics style. Both aged very good. Like there's worse looking PS4 games.
I recently rebought Final Fantasy 12 as a matter of fact. I need to go back and play it.
I need to play this thing right here. This is Final Fantasy 7 Demake for the Nintendo.
Oh man, I cannot wait to get that ROM on my PC and play it.
Yeah, I wish I wish I had a capture card for it so I can stream while playing it on the NES. BJ, give it to me. Give me your capture card.
I mean, you come over here and play it. I can watch.
Oh, what's good about me getting a ROM on my PC is I can stream it through Streamlabs.
Yeah, that is one good thing about it.
Yeah.
I'm
sure they make it. Somebody's got to have it.
No, yeah. I've thought about doing that. It's just kind of like just streaming just like ROMs of games that I physically own, because that's not illegal.
Like, especially if you have them complete, like sealed.
Yeah.
You don't want to open them,
right?
But if you want to stream them,
yep.
ROMs are the way to go. All my Pokemon games are ROMs.
They could come look through this whole collection and try to find all the games if they want to. You'll throw out 4,000 games. Let me know what you find.
I'm good.
I guarantee in some form or fashion I have the game in there somewhere.
I'm sure you do. All right. I think that's going to be it for this episode. This has been Lag Episode 6, covering worst, most controversial, most infamous games of all time. If we left anything off the list, let us know in the comments. This is going to be going on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials. We got links on the page. Anything y'all got else to say?
If we could get to 100 followers on Twitch, we're gonna make AJ shave his beard.
I wouldn't do that to him.
I'm leaving the group. It was good knowing everybody.
Hey, if we make it to 100 Twitch followers, I'll shave my head. Hey, right? Right?
I mean, he's already halfway there, guys. I mean, come on.
He's already started.
Shut up. I'm wearing a hat. They don't know.
One thing I do want to say is anybody who's been following my streams, if you don't follow it, Cheese Wheel Ball on Twitch. I know I've been having audio issues. I'm working to get that fixed. Please be patient with me. Mm-hmm. Another thing, we're going to be working to change the podcasts up a little bit. We kind of been talking about doing some different things here and there. Let us know what y'all want to see. Like, if there's suggestions y'all have for us to do, things that y'all think we can, improve on, things that y'all would like to see, let us know. Your input matters a lot. And I mean a lot. You never know what we could change, what you could suggest that we're like, oh, that's awesome. So please give us feedback.
For sure, definitely. And again, catch us on all our socials. We're on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
Discord.
AJ's probably on Craigslist somewheres.
He's definitely on Craigslist.
BJ said Discord. We're definitely on Discord. We'll have all that posted in the description. Check it out. Share it to your mammy, to your daddy, to
bald-headed granny.
Your bald-headed granny, even. Yes. And also your children and your friends. Those are probably more important to share it to.
Yeah, they're...
It's debatable. But yeah, that's it.
We're talking about people getting stabbed. They might not. We might have to put to your discretion advised before we do a podcast.
Yeah.
Violence inflicted.
All right, that's gonna be it for this. Hold on, I'm gonna actually give people a sneak peek on what the next episode will be on. Hold on, let's see. I said it earlier.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I just have to go back a little bit today. Cause I said it today. I said it this morning. Let's see.
I lost my phone for about 2 hours today, so
there we go. All right, so the September 30th episode is going to be Final Fight and the Streets of Rage and the beat 'em up genre as a whole. Amazing genre. I love it. Good, clean couch co-op fun.
And you want to talk about a bad game? We got a bad game we're going to bring up during that conversation.
Oh, I don't even know what it is yet, but we're not going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about it then. And then the week after that, I'm going to dip out, and it's going to be BJ, AJ, and Nick Venom talking about some wrestling games. Or, better said,
some wrestling.
Some wrestling games. Some wrestling games. Now, we did talk about one today. Hopefully they don't talk about that one next time, because that game was shit.
Well, we might briefly bring it back up, but that's about it.
But y'all
have probably good stuff.